Good morning, everybody. My name is Josh Setledge. I am the BJJ strength coach, and I want to talk to you guys about a method that you could use during this time of quarantine to build more muscle. And you might be asking, if you're new here, well, why is it important to build muscle in Jiu-Jitsu? It's all about technique, bro. Well, don't be a technique head. You know, just like you don't want to be a meathead in Jiu-Jitsu and only use strength and only use power and only use physicality, you don't want to be a technique head either. You want to have a good balance of both. Same rule applies for wrestling. And so when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu, we essentially want to be able to be stronger on the mat. We want to be a little bit more powerful. We want to be a little bit more explosive. That will help us not only execute the techniques and execute the moves that we want to do in a better fashion and more efficiently, but also help decrease our risk of injury when we're stronger. So this one method is a great way to build bigger muscles. And so when it comes to getting stronger, you need to establish a base of bigger muscles first. So for lack of a better term, if you're looking at a muscle, right? If a muscle's this big, it only has a certain capacity to get strong because it's limited by its size. If you're able to build a bigger muscle, you have a greater capacity to develop strength. If you think of a pyramid, right? How big is a pyramid? A pyramid's height, the peak of a pyramid, is only as wide as its base. So if you increase the base of the pyramid, you're able to increase the height of the pyramid. And that's essentially what we're doing with building bigger muscles during this time of quarantine. We don't have to balance weight training and rolling at Jiu-Jitsu because, unfortunately, we can't roll right now. It's been driving me nuts. It's been driving my fiance nuts. I've been putting her in arm bars. I've been trying to get her to put me in arm bars. So, you know how it goes. Anyways, we want to try to increase the amount of strength or increase the potential our muscles have to produce strength by creating bigger muscles. And one way we can create bigger muscles is by increasing the time under tension. Now, time under tension, or TUT, is a common phrase that's talked about in the strength and conditioning world, and it's very important that grapplers understand the time under tension principle, right? Think about a new technique. You're drilling your Toreando pass, right? If you learn the Toreando pass and your instructor shows you how to do it, and you're like, okay, I got it in my head, I know it, I've seen it, and I've seen it, but I haven't tried it yet. You can't really confidently say that you're going to be able to nail a Toreando pass in competition or in live training, right? Because you've only seen it. You haven't actually done it. You do one rep of a Toreando pass, you have a little bit better of an idea, but if it comes down to it, in live training, you still probably won't be able to do a Toreando pass very effectively. And so it's the same thing with strength training. If you think about a Toreando pass, to get really, really, really good and really honed in and have a really effective and unstoppable Toreando pass, you need to get a lot of reps in. You need to get a lot of reps in with resistance and partners that are kind of giving you some feedback and giving you a look a little bit like, hey, you know, I'm only giving you about 50% resistance right here, and you know, you need to adjust your hips this way. You need to adjust your pressure and your weight this way. And that's how you really get good at a Toreando pass. Same thing applies when you're building strength. You need to increase the time under tension. If you do an exercise, right, that, you know, it's only 30 seconds per set. So you do like a set of 4. You know, it takes 30 seconds to knock out 4 reps for a particular exercise, whatever that be. If you can increase your time under tension, you're producing more muscle damage. And when you produce more muscle damage, your body has to adapt and your body has to respond to that. And the way it adapts and the way it responds is by healing itself and creating a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger muscle. So if you can increase the time under tension, you essentially can make more strength gains. If you can make more strength gains, you're able to enhance your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu performance, which is very important, right? So following that thought process, if we can increase our time under tension, one way to increase time under tension would be to slow things down. And that's where tempos come into play. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is increasing our time under tension through incorporating tempos. Now, there's 3 sections to every movement. If you look at a movement like a squat, there's the downward phase, there's the stop at the bottom, and then there's the upward phase. Those are the 3 sections of every movement. If we can slow down the amount of time that we spend in each section of the movement, that increases our overall time under tension. And when we increase our overall time under tension, we, like I mentioned earlier, we produce more muscle damage. We're able to make greater adaptations, get stronger, get better at jiu-jitsu, win more matches, take home more gold medals, and impress more chicks, right? Maybe if you're a girl, you want to impress dudes, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so tempo work is a great way to increase your time under tension, and one way to do that is just by setting kind of a set amount of time in your head that you want to spend in each section of the movement. So if we're doing a squat, we'll just stick with the squat example. You want to build up your legs a little bit. You want to have a little bit bigger musculature in your legs so that you can develop stronger legs. That way you can have a stronger guard, tighter triangles, more dangerous guard, a really tight and locked in De La Riva guard. Your back hooks are, no one's getting out of your back hooks. Your closed guard, nobody's passing your closed guard. That's the ultimate goal, right? So one way you can do that with the squat is just think, okay, I'm going to spend 3 seconds on the way down. I'm going to give myself a 3-second count on the way down. Then I'm going to pause at the bottom for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to give myself a 3-second count on the way up. And now, depending on how much weight you have available to you, if you're doing, say, a kettlebell goblet squat, and you only have a 35-pound kettlebell, it might be pretty easy to do 3 seconds on, spend 3 seconds on the way down, 2 seconds at the bottom, and 3 seconds on the way up. So you might need to play around with how much weight you have, play around with how long you spend in each section of the movement. But a good rule of thumb is, if you're trying to build more muscle, you want to keep your reps between 8 to 12 reps. Those are kind of the optimal ranges to build more muscle. So if you have a 35-pound kettlebell, that's the kettlebell that I have at home, I just have one of them, I can get maybe close to 20 reps with a 35-pound kettlebell in a goblet squat, doing 3 seconds on the way down, 2 seconds at the bottom, 3 seconds on the way up. I need to make it a little bit harder for myself. So to get within that 8 to 12 rep range per set, I'm going to increase my tempos a little bit, and I'm going to increase it to 5 seconds on the way down, 2 seconds at the bottom still, and 5 seconds on the way up. That's going to be difficult enough for me to stay within that 8 to 12 rep range. And I'm going to do anywhere between 4 to 6 sets per exercise per workout. And now we're getting a little deep into the weeds here with some strength training programming, so don't worry about that right now. But the main point of this video and the main point of this message that I wanted to share with you was that you could use tempos, you could use light weights to really slow things down, and using tempos will be able to help you increase the amount of muscle you can build, which ultimately will lead you to be at a better place to develop strength. You'll have a greater potential of strength that you can build and create for yourself, which ultimately leads to decreased risk of injury, increased performance on the mats and in the training room and in the mats of competition as well. So hope you guys enjoy. If you have questions about tempo work, comment in this video below, subscribe to the channel. I'm new to YouTube, so if you got feedback for me, let me know, and I'm going to be looking to be cranking these videos out multiple times a week, so turn on the notification bell. Outside of that, check out the podcast, Daily Discipline Manifesto, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. You're already on my YouTube channel. Check out my website, link in the description, www.setlagestrength.com. You can get some free jiu-jitsu workouts, free grip training workouts, free training programs for wrestling, all that good stuff. And that's it. Follow me on Instagram at Joshua Settlage, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace!